Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Aries EDC. So, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, like, leave a comment, turn notifications on. I am going to be talking to you guys about what is an EDC fixed blade. Excuse me. And I have a very specific opinion on this, and it's based on because of the knives that I make, and what I think EDC actually is versus what is not EDC. So I had this conversation just recently with somebody, and one of the biggest things with my knives, and the Bloom is a perfect example, is the handle is too small. And in my world, an EDC fixed blade on an everyday carry. So we are talking in your everyday world, going to work, going to the grocery store, your everyday world, just being at home, maybe on the weekend, hanging with family, in your everyday world. You should not need, or in my opinion, I'm going to talk about myself. I do not need a blade bigger than this. And this is my Bloom. And the production model of the Bloom should be coming out early this year, which I'm super excited about. And one of the biggest things that people keep telling me is, one of the biggest things people are going to complain about is it's too small, or the handle is too small, because it is a 3-finger knife, and you get what I am considering is a integral lanyard. So on my customs, I do a lanyard on my 3-finger blade. So the rock copper, the Bloom, the thorn, they all have that lanyard, and that gives your pinky something to hold on to. And I'm going to share with you guys my story of how I got into fixed blades here in a second, and the knife that kind of inspired that. But with an everyday carry blade, the most that anybody, I think, at least me, that I'm going to do in my everyday is break down a cardboard box, or maybe cut a package strap with one of these. And that's really the most intense cutting I'm going to do. But I also, on a daily basis, I will carry a small fixed blade, but I'm also carrying a folder. So I'll carry a folder with me. This is just an example of a knife that I might carry. So I'm going to carry a folder, and I'm going to carry a fixed blade. So if I don't think the fixed blade is going to be able to do it, then I can pull out my folder, and we can see if that is going to be able to do it. So I carry a nice folder with me too. So I have options. But in my everyday world, I do not need anything more than just a small fixed blade. That's why I make the knives that I make. This is why I make smaller stuff. Now, recently, you guys have kind of pressured me into making something a little bit bigger. We have the Kubi Dust Devil sitting at the table also. And I bring this up because it is a 4-finger knife, and a lot of people think this is the perfect size fixed blade, and I really enjoy this knife. And the only thing, but I will tell you this, the only thing that saves this knife is the slim profile. And then I made a taco sheath for it, which makes it even that much better. But when I carry a fixed blade, I am carrying that appendix on the front, right side draw. So right at my belt buckle on the right side. So I am appendix right side on front carry. And I will show you guys that here in a second. But the reason I bring that up is because I don't want to feel this knife. My pockets, I have to keep my pockets empty, because for work, I'm filling my pockets with a bunch of stuff for work, So I have to keep my pockets pretty empty. So the only thing really in my pockets is my folder. And I'm filling the pockets with keys and all of these other things throughout the day. So I need to keep my pockets pretty clear because I know they're going to get filled with a bunch of other stuff. So I keep my fixed blade on my belt. And when I need it, it's there. And I want to forget I'm even carrying it. I don't want to feel it. I'm getting in and out of a vehicle all day. I'm bending, I'm stooping, I'm squatting down, I'm moving all over the place. And I don't want to get the handle caught, and I don't want to get caught on the handle because the handle's sticking out too far, etc. So I EDC a small fixed blade because I need a small fixed blade for a couple of reasons. And we're going to talk about these other ones on the table here in a second. So the story is this. Why do I carry a fixed blade? I was never really a fixed blade guy until I felt the need that I needed to have one. So at work, I work with a lot of junky stuff, and my wife bought me a knife that I could just have for work that I could beat up. And she bought me this knife for like $15. This is a Kershaw. I don't even remember the name of what this was. It's a full steel assisted opening knife. It's got that nice cool recurve Tonto compound grind on it. Actually, no, this is all hollow grind, so it's not a compound grind. But you got like this recurve and this and everything else. So this was my work knife. Tip down carry, by the way. So this was my work knife. I didn't really care. I could beat on it. I could do whatever I wanted. And I didn't really have to worry about it until the assisted opening just stopped working. Like I literally had to pull the blade open to get it to open because some of the things that I was cutting open, all the fine powders and that kind of stuff, were all getting caught up in the pivot. And this knife has a free spinning pivot. So there is no D-shaped pivot or anything. It's free spinning. So when I would try to loosen it, the whole thing spun. Now I was able to take all these other screws, separate the scales all out, and be able to clean it out. So yeah, I have the regular action on this thing again. But, I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't understand why I'm having so many issues with that knife. Then I saw this at a big box store. The CRKT Minimalist. Again, very inexpensive option. I saw this at a big box store and I was like, ooh, that might work. And then I took everything that they had and I turned that into my little EDC fixed blade. I moved the belt loop because this was supposed to be like neck carry, and I'm not a big fan of a neck knife, but I was able to put this on my belt loop, and I started carrying this on a daily basis. And this came in so stinking handy. All the stuff that I was opening and getting caught in the pivot, I was starting to use the fixed blade. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore. And again, it was a inexpensive option for me to do. Obviously, it's a 3-finger blade, and you have that lanyard for your pinky, and that becomes an integral part. But what are you cutting with this? Again, I'm not bushcrafting with this knife. I'm not going to think this is going to be a great camp knife or hunting knife or anything like that. This is a great little EDC fixie to open boxes, to break down a box if I need to, open little bags, open cardboard bags of the materials that I'm doing on a daily basis. So that is my gateway knife into the EDC fixed blade world. And it made me realize, there is a lot of people that might need a small little EDC fixed blade in their life, and it becomes something very handy to have. And then I started making my own. So that's where the bloom came from. Like I said, the production bloom is going to be coming out. And the reason I like the bloom for myself, because I designed this for me, you have a nice tip that you can puncture into boxes or poke anything that you need to open. It does have a belly. It's comfortable in the hand. You get the 3 fingers and the lanyard, and you're good to go for EDC tasks. Again, if I'm going bushcrafting or if I'm going camping, if I'm doing anything else, I might take something a little bit bigger with me. I might take something like my new model that's coming out, the Cardinal XL. That might work a little bit better for camping, or, you know, maybe do a little bushcrafting with it, but still I'm not batoning this knife through some wood or anything. It's big enough that I could, but again, it's very borderline as far as a EDC sizable fixed blade. Could I stick this on my belt? Yeah. And I'm about to show you guys how I do that. And I haven't put this on my belt, so I'm going to see what that feels like. But for just a perspective on that, I have EDC'd this Dust Devil for quite some time. And the Cardinal overall length is a little bit shorter than the overall of the Dust Devil. So I'm going to be interested to see of how this fits on the belt. And then you have something like the Rockhopper, where the handle's a little bit bulkier, and we're going to put that on the belt too, just to see how that feels. So, you know, we're going to see. We'll see. But again, the overall length on this is a little bit smaller than the Dust Devil, but the Dust Devil is such a thin profile that this might be a little bit different. But let's go ahead, put it on the belt. I'll show you how I carry.
Well, all right, this is going to be a little awkward, but so this is how I carry my fixed blade. I have my folder in my pocket. Today, I had my Jetstream in my pocket. So I have my folder, my pocket, and you guys probably wear blue jeans most of the time, probably. Today was colder, so I had my blue jeans on. And this is how I carry my fixie. And my every day, I wear my shirt. Nobody would even know that knife is there. As a matter of fact, whenever I'm at work and I just reach in and pull the knife out, people are like, what? And so it's not that I'm trying to conceal it. It's just that's where I like to carry it. So it's right here. You know, I can bend, I can twist, I can do everything else, and the knife disappears. I don't even know it's there. That's why I feel like this size blade, whether it's this size or the new Bloom Cliff, which is roughly about the same size as the Bloom, you know, it's right here. Oh, and here's a little tip. If you have one of my knives and you don't want to look at the sheath to put the knife back into the sheath, if you take your thumb, you put it right on the ramp, then the knife will slide right on in, and then you just got to push it in. So that's where I carry my knives. So let's look at some bigger ones. So here's the Dust Devil. So the Dust Devil does stick out past my belt loop or my belt buckle. So that can kind of get in the way if you got to undo the belt buckle, but it doesn't stick out so far that when I'm walking or swinging my arm, I'm not bumping into this. If it was way out here, I'd be bumping into that all day, pushing it down, it's getting caught, and it's just going to be annoying. So I've kind of learned to push that forward, and it's right there whenever I need it. I'm not a fan of vertical carry, and I'm not a huge fan of pocket dropping, because the simple fact that if I was, you got that sticking out of your pocket, which is fine, I guess, for those of you. But again, like I told you, my pockets I need to keep pretty much open throughout the day. So in my everyday, I'm not really able to pocket drop a blade. But you could pocket drop that. You could pocket drop the Bloom. I have an ulti clip I could put on here, and it would pocket drop in the pocket, and it would stay fairly well in the pocket, and then you could just pull it out. It's just not my preference. Well, all right. So the Cardinal on the pocket is about the same as the Dust Devil. The sheath passes my belt buckle, but I can still access it if I need to. And it's not going to get in the way of my arm. So that is actually really good. And this is a 3-inch blade with a, with a nice four finger handle for me. But it's awesome. But I also know some people that would be a 3-finger. That might just be a 3-finger knife. But 3-inch blade, again, I'm going to put my thumb right there and it slides right in. So really cool carry for the Cardinal. Let's check out the Rockhopper. Now, the Rockhopper, again, it's right there. It's a little bit bigger than what I would normally do, but it's right there, perfectly capable. You can pull it out, you're right there, put it right back whenever you're ready. Maybe. Why am I can't get it? Oh, there it is. Got it. All right, first time putting it on my pocket. That's kind of cool. So that's not really too far in the way. Again, it's pretty much it's pretty concealed unless somebody knows. It sticks out just like a little bit when you're talking or moving around, but it's not going to get in the way. I can bend, I can twist. I mean, it's down here. I'm in and out of a vehicle. That's where I personally like to carry it. Some maybe you like to carry scout carry in the back or vertical carry, however you want to. But again, the discussion is, what is EDC? So I guess what I'm trying to get at is we all have different ways to carry. There's no right or wrong way. That's kind of the cool thing about it. That's how I like to carry it. Maybe you like to carry it a different way that works for you, and because of that, maybe you would rather do something bigger than something smaller. But it's also what your daily tasks look like. Maybe your daily tasks are much more intense than my daily tasks. Maybe you need something bigger, and maybe you need something like about this size blade on a daily basis. This is a pistol, by the way, and for me, that's a big old blade to be carrying around every day. I want something in my pocket that disappears, but maybe you need or require something that big to do. And just so you guys know, this is the one knife, the one and only knife that I ever did a leather sheath for. And it's very ugly and not done very well. That's why I don't do leather and I do Kydex, because this was not a pleasurable experience and it's not something I'm really interested in doing anymore. So, what truly is EDC? Well, that's really up to you. And the cool thing about it, there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no good, there's no bad. It's just enjoying the blades that you have and carrying them in a different way. But to say a handle's too small, I did blah, 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 it's all a matter of what you're going to use that blade for. For me, a true EDC blade is, right around 2 to 3 inches and is very comfortable, is there when I need it, but is inconspicuous, lightweight, and I can carry it and forget that I have it on my body. Either forget that I'm carrying it, forget that I have it in my pocket, however you carry it, it's just something that you forget you have. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing. And it's what I figured when I got this, was I found that I forgot I was carrying it. I didn't even know I was carrying. I got used to carrying it so much that I would forget that I was carrying it. And so when I started making my own knives, I wanted that same experience with my knives. Even something like the Rockhopper. That's a nice small blade that I can carry on my belt and it disappears. I forget I have it, but it's there when I need it for my everyday cutting tasks. So that's my 2 cents on that, guys. I hope you understand and appreciate what I'm trying to say. There's no right, there's no wrong. As long as we're all enjoying how we carry it, you can always figure out what works for you. Oh, also, in any of my knives, I include these belt loops. And these can be taken off and adjusted. There's 3 holes here, so it could be dropped down or pulled up. You could vertically carry it. You could do however you wanted to carry that. Attach it to a backpack, attach it so it becomes a very useful thing that these loops come with, instead of some of the stuff that comes with the factory. Even that's better than some of the tech lock and all that kind of stuff that comes from the factory. That's the big bulky things, but definitely the loop is my personal preference. So anyway, I hope you guys appreciate it. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment, or not. Again, the choice is always yours. Thanks a lot, guys.